Are you controlling me this morning? Are you controlling me this morning? Okay. What did I want to say? Okay, no, can you say something again? Give me your whole name and surname. Okay, can you give me your volume up a bit? Just a little. Just a little? Yeah? Okay. Okay. Very good. What are we having this morning? Are we having call-ins? Are we having what? What am I having, Matthew? Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. 30 past, 22. Half past? Yes. 30 past. And then 40 past call-ins. Okay. Very good. Once again, good morning. Mr. Jeremiah Ekanjo. Okay. Mulundu Nango. Okay, Caroline. That's what I'm trying to check now. Are the names spelled correctly on the screen? Okay, Mr. Ekanjo says his is fine. Plate. Okay. And then next. Can we add Caroline between Mulundu and Nango, please? Matthew? Yeah, just add the second name. Yes. Caroline. Caroline. Thingy Jana. Oh, sorry. Can I have this? Yeah, this thing has makeup on. I think it was accidentally put in with the. Yeah. Is that correct? Okay, she says yes, it's correct. So, 30 minutes past the hour, there will be a video. How long is the video? It's a few video clips. Okay, so it's about 5 minutes of video. Okay, that's 30 past, and then we have call-ins. We also open up our lines for comments from social media platforms, just so that you know that you might receive questions that are not necessarily from the script that you received. What else? What else? When you're drinking water, I'm sure she explained from the bottom of the mask, not from the top. I don't know how that works, so I've never tried.
From?
Excuse me?
I guess it's for the mic, I don't know. What's the other thing? Sometimes we tend to run out of time, so we could just try and keep questions as very informative, but as concise as possible. I don't know if that's even sensible. We've got 5 minutes to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Then there was the issue of the one question, Jana. Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Jana, what was the question that was supposed to be answered by somebody else? Yeah?
Question number...
Where? Okay.
Yes, good morning.
So I should shut up.
Is it 3? It's 3, I think. It was 3. Question 3?
No.
The one that was meant for Mr.
Question.
Yeah, that one.
And then question 4.
Oh, the one we switched.
I know.
Did they
This
take
is the
note
one
of
I'm
that?
comfortable with. This is the one, like, I'll give a bit and then they'll also support the third question. Yes.
Matthew, can we continue conversing? Okay. Question 5. Question 5 has now changed to Miss Rickert, and question 6 is now for Mr. Ekanjo.
That's right.
Okay. And also be prepared for any follow-up question I might throw at you. Yeah. Sound, who's with sound? John? John? Can you assist us, please? She's struggling a bit with her mic. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay. Justin, how do I do this? Hi, what? These things are so skew inside. Do I just put it on? I mean, it won't. How do I? Okay, wait. This one is fine. Oh, man. Pando, I've got too many things on my ears. If it's not a wig, it's a mask. It's not a mask. It's a spectacles.
I don't know why always your mic, whenever you move like this, it keeps scratching.
Scratching, no? I also
I
thingy.
notice it.
I also hear it.
So I don't know why. Just move.
It it's here. It scratches on my ear.
Just keep it off.
Okay, so guys, how far are we? 2 minutes before we go live. Okay. We don't have any other updates that I'm updating people on or anything, right?
Okay. My name is Caroline.
Jeremiah. Okay.
Ronnie is here. He's sitting at his chair now. He's putting out his headphones. Speak to him now. I'm feeling very awkward today. This chair is not right. This chair is seriously not right. Oh yes, all cell phones on silence. Not vibration, silence. But you're allowed to use them in case you want to, I don't know, Google something. Must Good morning, Namibia, and welcome to the 21st of February 2022 session here at the Government Information Center. And we're having a special one. As you know, that we usually have one in the afternoon at 3 o'clock. But today, because it is the commemoration of International Mother Language Day, we are having that special one at 10 o'clock today. My name is Shianua Desire Kahiha, and I am your host for this morning. And I have a healthy panel this morning to help us divulge into the topic of mother tongue and what it stands for, the importance thereof, and the accessibility of it in our schools. And in the studio today, I've got Mr. Jeremiah Ekanjo. He is an Oshindonga teacher at the Mandume Primary School. Good morning, sir, and thank you for being with us.
Amen.
We also have Ms. Colette Rickert, and she is the chairperson for the Association of Private Schools in Namibia. Good morning, ma'am, and thank you for joining us. And lastly, we also have Ms. Mulundu Caroline Nango. She is the developer of the Lilonga Nenyanyu learning application. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Oh, well, mother language, it's very important. It's something that we carry from basically birth or within the womb, as some would say. Doctors have, somehow in the past said that children do actually react to the different sounds and conversations that parents have with them while they're already in the womb. So one would say it is something that you are literally from conception carried with, and that is your mother tongue. It is what you do or speak at home. It is what you, as you grow up, get to learn to communicate through. And that's the importance thereof that was seen and carried through into our educational systems and all other systems of life, as we have now started seeing the development of many materials in the different linguas that we find across not only the country but also across the world. This morning we are commemorating the International Mother Language Day under the theme Using Technology for Multilingual Learning, Challenges and Opportunities. Now, to kick it off, we would like to ask Ms. Nango to assist us. If we are to speak to a 7-year-old and we need to explain what is mother language, what would we say to the 7-year-old?
Okay, I would explain mother language as the language that a child acquires from the environment, the language that a child is most comfortably using, talking, reading. So 7-year-old, these are most school kids that have just started with school. So I would say their mother language would most probably be the language that they are being taught in school. So a language that they have acquired in their environment, within their environment, that they have gotten from their caregiver, what they speak at home.
Okay. Mr. Ekanjo, what criterias are used to determine mother language, and how many mother languages do we actually have in Namibia? If that's even a fair question to ask. Yeah.
Language. Well, coming to the criterias that mostly used, be it in schools, to have a mother language taught to our children, we would at first look at the number of learners that we have in our community or in the proximity within the school. And that would determine which mother language a school can adopt to teach their children. For instance, if we have 40 learners, that will definitely qualify a school to have that specific mother language. But in most cases, this is now also varies according to other factors, like maybe the availability of teacher who can give instruction in that mother language. Do we have already other languages that we are offering at that school, so that the learners cannot be left out? The learners can also be included in the learning of their preferred language of instruction. Well, coming to the mother language that we have in Namibia, we have quite a lot. Let's say more than 10, that can be 12 languages that are adopted as mother language in Namibia. For instance, I would say we have a group of Bantu-speaking people that will now have languages like Oshindonga language being taught in Namibian schools. We have Oshikwanyama is also being taught in our Namibian schools. We have Oshiherero, and we have Rukwangari for the Kavango speaking, and we also have Asilozi is among the languages that are spoken in our country and are also taught as mother languages. And not only that, but we also have the language from the Khoisan. We have like KKG, and we also have the Setswana is another language that is adopted as language. And coming now to the European languages, we would say we have Afrikaans speaking people, and it's a mother language that's taught as first language. We have English as well, and partially German speaking. Those are all the Namibian languages that are perceived as first language in our country.
Okay. That's an option, and to think that he's just giving examples. So I think we've got a healthy representation, and one could assume that this has it's material based. There's material, solid material that assists with this teaching. Mr. Ikanja, one would assume that we've got solid material based, as in books, archives, whatnot, that we can use for instructions in class on all these languages that you mentioned now.
Yeah, we do have, but in most cases, the language might not be adopted at the school. It's simply because we do not have the materials. We do not have textbooks that are in line with that language. And in most cases, they would merge these learners to be taught a predominant mother language that is available in that community. And talking of resources also, can be human resources, teachers. We might have Tswana kids, but we do not have a Tswana teacher to convey those instructions to this group of learners. Consequently, they will now take Oshikwanyama, they can even take Oshindonga for that matter, so they can have this as a first language. It's sometimes situation that can be beyond the school control, that is forcing a Shikwanyama child to learn Koikeji. Is the environment.
Yes, Ms. Rickett, you're about to add to that?
I think what we could add is to look at the official policy of the ministry at the moment. So the policy is indeed from grade 0 to grade 1, a child receives mother language education or mother tongue instruction, as we call it within the syllabus. So there they should get their books and their educational materials and the instruction in their mother language. Of course, as he said, there are some shortcomings where we don't have either the educational materials or the teacher in order to give every child his or her mother tongue instruction up to the end of grade 11, or up to the end of grade 3, because of course then from grade 4 onwards it's English as medium of instruction in Namibian schools.
Well, sometimes we might see it as a glass half empty, that you're not receiving what you're supposed to be receiving as per the policies in place. But I think if we want to be on the positive side, especially at such a young age, it helps this child to actually just develop their linguistic skills in another language. I think I would have felt very privileged if I had such an opportunity to be able to learn even
Another language,
you know? Just to have that type of conversations that you can have randomly, and it is a Namibian language at the end of the day. Ms. Nango, coming back to you, the theme for this year is using technology for multilingual learning. And also there's an addition there, challenges and opportunities. Now, even from us now, when we started having this conversation, this whole thing is leaning a lot towards the education sector. Can you assist to maybe unpack this for us?
Okay, so maybe let me start with the challenges that can be associated with this. Some of the challenges that we have is the fact that people don't have this adequate technological devices that they could use. Let's say for a laptop, for instance, so, or a smartphone. So if a child who's in school doesn't have that and everything is focusing on technology, they might end up missing out because they don't have access to the materials, right? But an opportunity comes with that. So with technology, kids can have most of their lessons pre-recorded, and they could go back to this as at their convenient time and as many times as they can. So we could look at that as one of the opportunities. Another one could also be that education could continue irregardless of the distance. Let's take, for instance, the COVID. People are not allowed to be in packed venues and all. So this could help that because from home, children will still be able to learn and attend school via these technological devices. So that's one of the opportunities. Unless
anybody wants to add something to that?
Yeah,
I
no.
think the one thing is very quite clear now that Ms. Nango is saying. You highlighted the impact of COVID, and I think in the past 2 years, as much as it had, tremendously scarring impact on the globe, it actually enlightened us on many other ways that, avenues that could be visited to get things done. It taught us that, remoteness does not necessarily mean lack of something. We can find and figure out ways in which we can carry out or continue to carry out what we need to do, but become more creative in how we can do that. Now, in the context of importance of development of e-learning material in mother language, what are the challenges in this regard, in that particular regard, and what could be done to advance development of e-learning materials in mother language in Namibia? Ms. Nango, maybe you can give that answer to us.
Okay, so in the context of Namibia, we don't have enough materials in our mother languages. For instance, let's take learning applications. Most of the existing learning applications are only in English. So that's like a problem when it comes to education, because they are only limited to English, and if you don't understand or you can't communicate in English, then you are left out. So this could be advanced if people could just and also, I think people are not well informed, or they don't understand that people that are to develop these tools is the community like us that understand the language better. We need to come forward with now the appropriate authorities. Let's take, for instance, NIET or Ministry of Education. So if somebody has an idea of something, it doesn't have to be necessarily a developer. It could just be a linguistic who's so. This could be advanced if communities could just work together and come forward, bring their ideas, and then we can start building on this. Yes.
Anybody to add something to that, maybe?
Yeah, and also just to have the expert coming on board, the expert who have already developed something familiar to this, then we can just learn on how best they have done it. So we can also do it in our mother language. By doing this, it will definitely help our children also to find interest in technology and starting to adopting it as a means of learning, because now we say we are all facing now the direction of ICT, that is information, and that is technology that is required of nowadays. Just like you said, remoteness does not mean one cannot learn. We have to learn from home, adopting technology, so learning can take place regardless of this situation that we find ourselves in. We're dealing with that.
Ms. Rickert, maybe you can assist us to understand the value of mother language education for a child's further academic progression.
To revise what we said earlier is the fact that mother language is the language that the mother of the child speaks to him or her while caring for them. So immediately that is the language that they love at first, that they are comfortable with, and where they can really think, dream, and be creative in. So now a child's language proficiency, on the other hand, which determines how fluent he or she will be in any other language, is formed in his or her mother tongue. In other words, the better a child learns to speak his mother language and is educated in that, the better a child will be in another language, including English at a later stage. And very often I find it sorry when Namibian parents will come to me and say, no, I want my child to start education in English sooner, believing that he or she will be better in English when they start sooner. But the truth is that studies have shown if your child is educated in his or her mother tongue up to year 10, 11 more or less, then the child is so much better in all other languages that they want to speak, and they become proficient in those languages as well. So I am a firm believer of mother language education in a child's initial school years. And then for them to change over, and definitely, I mean, English is our national language, a common language that we can all understand in order to communicate. It is an international language that we have to communicate in. And of course, now from the other side, once your mother tongue is well established, then you can switch to other languages. So by studying science and geography and all the other languages in English rather than the mother tongue, that child's, that his whole vocabulary is broadened, and then they do so well in the other languages to speak that. And today we are talking about multilingualism, and I think there should be a strong focus on at the schools as well, to make sure that a child does not only speak one language or two, but try to let them speak at least 3 languages. Because if you can speak someone's language, already you can speak to his heart, and there's just so much better communication in it. So yes, mother tongue language, very important, but also then to properly switch to our national and international language, the medium of instruction, English.
I would like to come in there with a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken, it should be around 2013-14. There is a campaign called Nation Heard National Pride Campaign, and I believe they had a workshop, and it spoke to the adaptation of the mother tongue in school environments, and not just that, but in academia as a whole. And one of the issues that came up is the translation. I don't know, maybe one of you or all of you can just give quick input on that. The biggest issue was where African languages, and more so our Namibian languages, tend to have, for example, for one word in English, you will have 3 words in the mother tongue. Or you will have one word pronounced in 3 different ways. I mean, spelled the same way, pronounced in 3 different ways, means 3 different things. How do you then tackle that with regards to the development of school material, the ensuring that, you know, and then the other thing was also the fact that sometimes you would find words in English that are nowhere to be found in our mother tongue. How do you then handle that as somebody who's trying to educate in a mother tongue?
Yeah, I can give you the example that we do at our school, where as from grade 4, we gradually phase in the English. And the way we do it is that we give the notes in English primarily, but then also in the child's mother language.
Okay.
And I think that could be a very good suggestion to our ministry as well. Because now when a child reads something in English, he doesn't understand it, but then when he has the other option of his mother language, explaining what this language is, then he learns the English better, because he learns to understand that term, and while his mother tongue is not left behind.
Mr. Ekanjo, as a teacher, currently you are practicing this. How do you then handle this?
Yeah, with the regard of the language development, or we say now a vocabulary building up, we are really at a struggle, but we still have to find a way. For example, if we to teach a child a word that is not to be found in our mother tongue. For instance, now we have words that are just borrowed. We borrow. You borrow from other languages to adopt it as yours. For example, I can give like we have auto. It's a word that is commonly used, but we will add now a few words to make it sound in our language. Like we have auto, oshi auto, you know, like that. Then you have that oshi as the begin, but then you still have that English word,
Borrowed
that
words.
sound, that sound is still in. And if we just continue doing that year in, year out, our vocabulary will be rich and we will have quite a lot of words. Many other words, like origina, it's actually origin. We add O there, it's origin.
Okay.
And a child might get to understand it with the provision of other now teaching resources, like maybe you show a picture, the child will have that in the mind, the visual will be there. And in the end, the language is developed in that way.
Okay, so I think teachers are constantly being tested, hey? Right? Not only are they being tested by the small ones in the classes, but they're also being tested academically to try and find creative ways on the basis of their history academically, as well as their day-to-day runnings on how to continue assisting the little ones and make sure that they get what they need to get in the classroom. And here specifically, we're referring to the mother language. Education, mother language, all of that. It's a national topic. As I always say, that it is always important to hear what people out there on our streets are saying about a particular topic that we're discussing. And thus our production crew took to the streets to hear the views of our viewers out there and our national compatriots. Here's what they had to say.
Amenya memuremi ndiye ndikasi Nelson Ashipala amene mwene kwara kuyunga igaraka lyange yoru kwangali igaraka lyange yo landikisange nidikasi ninkawa hanu
Mijn naam is Belera en ik is Afrikaans inderdaad. Dit is mijn moedertaal, dit is vijf. Dat is mijn moedertaal.
Moro, dege imani madesti mana. Dege dida kabanchi kawan aza hurati. Dege gise a nunza namakwe. Dege dida marina za hurati. Tangi.
Utangi muhareke ochimwana cha Namibia. Onga epombili ha tatindaka petrisa heru za kukwambi. Ohepopi era kayo chkwambi ano era kayo chwambo ondu bitunza mohatinya nyudande okukara hepopi era kandida yama siwombo
Moro shwana cha Namibia enaranje amikarirwe karomentu ami omukwa uti mukahonde omunakwendata meana bakwendata wina bino utongatima okurira omuhungire wera karoshihero menaro kusha okushwa ombadhu ywe urishiwa kusha wadhapi numoipi okuhena okushwa byombadhu bye pathana shino mutimbu hena mwide kaparu kadheuriri okusha kuna esebanga kusha omitanda ngavikare nonyune mo byombadhu byao okuhepa
Dumelang bagaetsho, ke nna Juliet Mogotsi, ke le kgarebe la Motswana. Ke ipela ka Setswana sa me gonne se nkaetsa gore ke tswa kae, se nkaetsa bothito yo ke tswang gone. Ka jalo ke re ke itumela thata, ke ipela thata go ka nna Motswana.
Hallo almal, my naam is Monique Maritz en ek praat Afrikaans. Die rede hoekom ek lief is vir Afrikaans is die harde klanke soos die r en die g en die k. Dis baie expressive. Ek weet nie wat die Afrikaanse woord is vir dit nie. Maar ek hou regtig van die harde klanke van Afrikaans.
Coming back from these, encounters with the people on the streets, I love, was it Maritza? What is her name? Yeah. What I'm taking away from that is, first of all, she finds excitement in the hard, do you call it vo?
Yeah, the hard vocals.
The hard vocals in the Afrikaans language. And then she's trying to explain why she loves it, and she can't find an Afrikaans word to explain that they're very expressive. So I think, as I said, we can always look at things as a glass half full instead of half empty. That even sometimes we will be struggling in our own mother tongue to find a word that is trying to tell or show the world what you're trying to say, and sometimes you're forced to borrow from another language. It's not always English, trust me, because sometimes even the English can fail you, and I know that very, very well. Our conversation continues here in the studio, and we would like to actually welcome you to be part of it. Add your voice. If you've got a question, please, you are welcome to do so. Our call-in line, the area code is 061. The number is 400-397. 061-400-397. You can also reach us through our Facebook platform, that is at Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, Republic of Namibia, Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, Republic of Namibia. We're also on YouTube, and it is at MICT Namibia. MICT Namibia, that's our handle on the YouTube channel. Mr. Ekanjo, we would like to get back now, taking from Maritza now. I would like to hear from you. What shortcomings are experienced in the transition of a learner from junior primary to higher grades with regards to the use of mother language?
As teachers, we are really experiencing that. Actually, it's a focal bridge that children now have to go through from junior primary, being taught is their mother tongue as a medium of instruction, and they have to switch now to another medium of instruction, which is the official language, English language. Well, we really do have quite a lot of experiences, and also the opportunities that I'll also speak about later on. Having a touch on the experiences that we experience as teachers in terms of mother tongue transition. These learners, sometimes they tend to have a slow translation of context, simply because at first they would have to think in their mother tongue, slowly translate that in the new language in the picture before they give what they are asked to give. And these learners also, that is how they at times comes up with direct translation. Is simply because they think in their mother tongue, and the answer they have to give must be now in the official language. For instance, now we have the learners that Satwi, that translated now in English as we are going. And and they think in their mother tongue, like as we say. It's just even the sentence construction is a direct translation, copy and paste, just the change of words in a formal language. And also these learners of ours, Namibian learners, so as to say, they have difficulties in spelling words. When they are coming from Oshindonga now, junior primary as a medium of instruction, coming to to grade 4 now, where they meet now English as a medium of instruction, the way you have to ask them to spell the words. Believe me, the English teacher will come in the picture and tell you, they are not having it easy there. You even find even simple words like hour, like we say, NBC is hours. That hour, you ask a child to write it down, they will write it like AWA, hour. That is how they say it in their language.
Yeah.
If they have to write enough, they know there's a word enough.
Yes.
They will write that enough, like
The way they say it, or they're
INAF,
hearing it.
enough. That is what they have to write. And looking at the context of the word, the sound is English phonics. What is written is pure Oshindonga or Shikwanyama. And I'm very much sure that it's not only us, maybe teachers for Oshiwambo speaking, and these are the experiences also from other teachers, like Oshiereru, the Rukwangari. If they can come in the pictures, this is what they're experiencing out there in their schools. And now, this is also affecting the way they pronounce word due to our different dialect, when we are the Bantu speaking people, we have that ND, that NB is too strong in our dialect. I'm going to the Benga. I'm going, I'm going.
Yeah.
One could understand I'm going, but then is that there's an influence of the mother tongue is dominating. In even the way we speak, it's quite bringing in the smell of our language is always in the way we spell the words.
Yeah.
And in most cases, they find it also difficult to construct sentence. Simply in the junior primary, they are learning in their mother tongue. Now they have to express themselves in English language when they come to grade 4. Constructing a sentence, it's quite difficult for our learners. And in my word, I would say teaching maybe starting from grade 4, because that is where you really have to do quite a lot. It's like it's a new beginning.
Yes.
It's
Like
a new child. You are starting from the scratch.
Yeah.
And but you can see they are not empty vessels. They have an idea, but it's only a question of how do I do it, because it's a new language in the picture. And all these things can be as difficult as they look. It's simply because sometimes we don't have enough resources, just like we have said in the beginning. If we can maybe provide as many phonic books to our learners when they go home, they can do their home task as much as they can. There will be a little improvement in the way they are learning. And if we could at least maybe just provide enough experts in the field of education, especially the foundation, we need quite a lot of experts to help get rid of these shortcomings that we have just mentioned here. And our learners need those people who are really good at it. Because believe me, I can be a teacher, but there is just that certain area that I'm lacking, and I'm not giving it my all. And maybe you skip a competency, and this child will definitely just go like that.
So I think also in the absence of that, within the fraternity, I think idea exchange would also really help. Because earlier on, Ms. Rickert, you mentioned something that your school does, and I think that is something that can be utilized, for example, to fill in the gap of what Mr. Ekanjo is now speaking to, and that starts way before the grade 4 level. So it's like you're building that bridge prior to the time when the child has to completely now start being taught in the English as the medium of instruction. So it's all about how we can fill as a nation where we are not having certain things in place formally, find other ways to try and mitigate the issues that we are dealing with. So maybe
Yeah.
that idea that Ms. Rickert has had earlier on could assist you in your day-to-day workings, and others out there who are also having the same challenge when it comes to the transition
Yeah.
of the junior, from junior primary, from their mother tongue to English, which now becomes their medium of instruction. We've got a comment here from our YouTube channel, and Ms. Helve Alago is telling us that let us promote multilingualism. Very interesting discussion. Yes, oh, she's cheering you on. Yes, definitely. We are with you, Ms. Halvi Alago. We definitely agree. And you know, it is commemorations like these, the efforts of others that are being done in silence that we are not aware of. For example, those of Ms. Nango, that come to light and can maybe be enhanced, picked up by somebody else who might call her up and say, can we work with you? And maybe other people will have ideas like Ms. Rickert had now, and Mr. Ikanjo is expressing certain issues that they're having, and somebody calls up and says, sir, we've got this and this, and maybe it can assist you. So Ms. Helvi, thank you very much for that comment of yours. We are definitely cheering those in the fraternity to continue the good work that they are doing to that regard. Ms. Nango, we would like to ask you, have there been any success stories, opportunities identified? Speak to us about that.
Okay, I'll give an example. For instance, Angola. They have successfully managed to translate most of their textbooks in 7 of their mother languages in their
Who's
country.
this now?
Angola.
Angola?
Yes,
Okay,
the country.
okay.
And then we also have South Africa. Their learners are allowed to choose a medium of instruction in school until varsity. So Namibia could look at this as an opportunity to also do the same, and also now incorporate technology, like in the sense of textbooks. We could have this in a software kind of thing. And also now, but I've heard Mr. Ekanjo can elaborate on that, but there's Edulution in Namibia. This is where children learn on tablets. So far, there's the content of mathematics and English. So I think this is also a good thing. We can grow on that. For instance, now with the Ellen app, is an app that I've developed in Oshiwambo. It's for children, just the basic education for children. So we can adapt this in other languages, in other Namibian mother languages, and also grow the content to also include higher education content. So we are getting there.
We're getting there. Slowly but surely. I mean, at the end of the day, we are better off where we are now than where we were yesterday. So it's all about the little steps that we take to try and get there. I mean, honestly speaking, for example, we highlighted examples of the challenges alone between English and other languages, and the fact that now you're going to try and teach these other subjects in a mother tongue that doesn't have some of these things. These are little things that we've identified, and the identification comes with the work that was put in to try and mitigate the bridges that are between the two languages, try and ensure that as much as we've got the adaptation of new languages, European languages, and so on, we still try and ensure that we, how do you call it? We keep the value of the mother tongue. And besides that, also, Ms. Rickert highlighted a very important thing. The fact that, you have this child learning up until a certain grade actually increases their chances of picking up on the next language much faster. And these are the little things that I'm speaking about. Those alone are success stories. Those alone are opportunities that we can build on and climb on further. And we've got Ms. Johanna Otoni here. She's on our YouTube channel, and she would like to say thanks for bringing that out, Mr. Ekanjo, but a lot of learners are mocked and laughed at because of the direct translation. What had schools done to instill a sense of safety amongst learners. So Ms. Utoni is saying thank you to Mr. Ekanjo for bringing up the different issues, especially between the language direct speaking and so on. But she is also highlighting the fact that a lot of children are laughed at by their peers when they do these direct translations. What have schools done to instill a sense of safety amongst learners? I know there's one that's quite popular. You know, when you're not used to using it, now you need to remember it. My mother did say. That has become like the national language across all the little ones. My mother did say, and as much as you try and get it out of them, you then, you know, when you're listening to these discussions now, it's where you understand, because it's not the child being deliberate, it's the fact that they're literally going through the process of translation from one language into the next. By the time they speak it, it comes out like that. So with that question that Mr. Tony now put up, maybe somebody can assist Ms. Rickert. She's speaking to the safety and so on in schools.
I think there's actually a much bigger picture than just laughing at another child because of the way he speaks or being unable to translate a certain word. I think it goes further than really the issue of bullying and being kind towards one another, and so in order to handle this small little tip of the iceberg, one has to go much deeper, and one has to go and really go through various programs to make the children respect one another, also in terms of their languages and their shortcomings with regard to certain languages. So I think that's we've got big anti-bullying campaigns that says, don't be a bully, be a buddy. So in a case like that, don't laugh at the person, be kind and assist that person with the correct word. So, but that's a whole character build-in process that one should do.
And I think that if we can enhance campaigns like that, they can actually go a long way in assisting children to learn faster, to transition faster, because then you take away this cloak of shyness that comes from the fear of being bullied when you say something wrong. I mean, as an adult, already you feel you're uncomfortable. So now you can imagine a poor little child who doesn't actually have that self-esteem armor around them and have to go through it. Ms. Nango, this application of yours, we would like to know, have you received any assistance? Have you expanded it? Have you had consultations with others of other, what do you call it? Yeah.
Okay, so with this application, I developed it as my 4th year project. So I don't think you were really allowed to have, but I did consult with my supervisor. She's good, she's a linguistic type of person. Yeah, so she's the one who checks the app if it's accurate and stuff. But now that it's out, it can be advanced to maybe accommodate other languages and also maybe to add content, because as of now it only incorporates 2 categories, which is for smaller kids 2 to 4 and then the 5 to 7. So we can add on that, but it's so far it's out on Google. Because it's an Android-based application, so maybe the advancement could also include so that it can accommodate all the how do I say it, mobile apps. They can also accommodate iPhone users and so forth. But yeah, I did get help from here and there, especially with the transitioning of words from English to Oshindonga, because I kind of made it with an English point of view. So I had to.
So now it goes to the reverse, where the children start from mother tongue to the English. You had to go from the English to the mother tongue.
Yes, something like that.
Okay. I hope it's patterned. and copyright it, please. You know, no, we need to proudly take ownership and make sure that nobody out there takes your idea and make them, make it their own. Because honestly speaking, it takes a lot of time and energy and work that you put into something like this. Ms. Rickert, I want to find out from you, as the chairperson in your association that you are, private schools, have you had challenges with regards to mother tongue teachers, the availability thereof?
Yes, definitely. There's also a shortcoming with regard to language teachers.
Yeah.
And that's always a challenge, to find the correct person and also to have enough need in your school for a specific mother language to offer that. But language teachers are quite scarce.
Oh, it seems to be the problem across board, as Mr. Kanja highlighted earlier on. I think this next question goes to the both of you, actually. What are the challenges towards the effective implementation of mother language to include all learners?
Well, as we just said, get more teachers to study the language as well.
Yeah.
And then also to plan logistically, so that in a particular area, they were, say, in the area of Katatura, have a school where the one language is offered as mother tongue, and in another area where another language is offered, so that more kids can have the opportunity for that mother language. Not only determine who's more or less the most and will go for that mother language, but we should try to give that opportunity to more and more learners.
I hear you, I hear. But before Mr. Akanja comes on board, we've got Tati from Okahanja. I believe we've lost Tati there. Hopefully you can call us back. We're still here. The number is 061 400 397, 061 400 397. Tati, please do call us back. We would love to hear from you. Mr. Ekanjo, would you like to add anything on what Ms. Rickert said?
Oh, yeah, I have to add a little bit, because, for effective implementation of this mother tongue in schools, the challenge we have at hand is that the placement of learners, learners are being placed just in any available school without considering the fact that the school offers certain language and not the other. In the end, you have this learner, you have to have them now in your class, and they have to learn a first language and a second language, which is official language. Now, at the end, someone will definitely have to learn at a slower pace, because she or he is Oshirero speaking, and the others are learning Oshikwanyama. If this learner could be placed in the right school that is offering that language, and then the learning difficulties will be minimized. So it's quite a challenge implementing the first language, but we'll keep
it
trying.
Sounds like, from what I'm picking up from your responses, it's like a ripple effect that comes from somewhere else. Like Mr. Ekandra is now speaking with regards to placement. So we do know for a fact in our country that we've got school availability issues with regards to the number of schools, the ratio between the number of schools and the number of learners that need placement. So that creates an issue in itself, because then it's where there is space type of scenario, but not necessarily where there is the right space for that particular child. And then with regards to teachers, availability of teachers. Now this brings me to the next question. From your experience in the education sector, and I'm referring now to the teachers themselves, from your experiences from levels of varsity, for example, do you believe that that is where the issue starts, that we do not have enough people who are studying education that are going into or vying into the arena of mother tongue teaching? Or is it one of those where it comes from even further? Because we've now established, there was a time when there was great hype about mother tongue in schools, where it was introduced all the way up until grade 12. Then it became about the ratio. If there are 40 plus in a particular school, then that particular language will be offered. But now the question comes in. If I do not have my mother tongue as a language available to me up until my grade 12, how then do I go further my studies at varsity level without this background? And how then do I become a teacher in Oshiherero if I'm not studying at varsity, which comes from high school? Do you think that that could be one of the issues that we have? If not, what do you think?
The most important part is definitely the junior primary. So teachers studying B.Ed primary phase, they will have to be well fluent in the language that they offer, and in English as well, because they need to assist those kids to be on a fair English standard by the end of grade 3 in order to enter English as medium of instruction in grade 4.
Yes.
So I think that is quite, it's a fair situation that we have at the moment, but we have to focus on the quality of our teachers in the junior phase, the foundation phase, as we call it.
Yeah.
And it's certainly, that is where there's already a big shortcoming. And I know the reason why so many kids struggle with education in the first 3 years is mostly because of a language barrier. And that should be addressed. And as we said, by that time, by the end of grade 3, then a child is more or less 10 years old.
Yeah.
And then if he could just get the assistance of notes in his mother language, so you can have your textbook or your notes, but then also notes in your mother language. So just for personal reference sake, because I know I taught my kids when they had to study everything in English, then I told them every word you don't understand, you have to highlight,
Yes.
and then you get the correct English, the meaning of that word, so that they could really build on their vocabulary, which I think is definitely a shortcoming if you look at the English language as a subject later on in the years, where the children don't have a good vocabulary.
Okay.
And I think that can be addressed in that way as well.
Okay. Mr. Kanjo, with your closing remarks?
Yeah, and also with that, you know, we are a society that is emerging from this misconception of stereotype. Now we have people at varsity that also don't take pride in learning mother language. And this is in itself already bringing in a lot of shortcomings in terms of having a lot of availability teachers to teach a mother language. And they end up doing now other courses, and some of them might be very, very good in mother language, but because of the stereotype, you are this gender, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
It's a thing that we need to get away from and just give the best to our children so they can learn. And maybe with the other remarks can be our national language policy also have to be revised just to accommodate a mother tongue as medium of instruction, if that can really be possible. Just by looking at how other countries have done it, we can indulge on comparative studies, so we can have the best for our country. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Good, closing remarks?
Yeah, no, I agree that we must continue to focus on the mother language education and really make that a lot more accessible in the first place for our children, and really make it a lot more fun so that they can have a quality education in their mother language.
Okay. Ms. Nango?
Okay, so I just call upon Namibia because I think most of us are under the impression that things should be done for us. But in order for us to grow, we need to step up and do the things ourselves. We need to come forward and develop all these amazing things. Technology, that's what we are moving towards in all aspects. So people must come forward. People with good, people are out there with great ideas. They must bring them forward so we can develop on that and just work on that so we make our education efficient and fun.
Okay. I like that one. I like that one, the last one. And fun. It should be, especially with the fact that we're trying to enhance young minds here. The minute the child gets bored, they've lost interest. So the fun part is very much important in that element. We've got a last comment here from our YouTube channel. We've got Erans Bandu. Erans Bandu would like to say, excellent discussion, which really put emphasis on the need to rethink the status currently attached to our various mother languages, not only communities, but our academia. Thank you very much, Erans. I'll read that again. Excellent discussion, which really put emphasis on the need to rethink the status currently attached to our various mother languages, not only communities, but our academia. So that is a kudos boost there from Mr. Bantu. Thank you for partaking in our conversation this morning. Look, at the end of the day, education is really a tripartite, if I can call it that. It's between the child, the parent, and the teacher. It is very important that all three find ways to assist each other, especially the predominant teacher and parent relationship that will be used or needed to make sure that the child gets everything that they need, the best that they could get, to ensure that their future is well set. And mother tongue should never ever actually be forgotten in this process, because as we said, it starts from conception. And if we really want to ensure that we enhance this child's future, we need to make sure that we equip them with everything that they need to ensure that that future is guaranteed. As Ms. Rickert said, that, the transition into English as a medium of instruction can be greatly enhanced by the enforcement of mother language in our academic structures. And also, looking into the lack of human resources is something that as a nation we should honestly take up on, not just the education ministry, but all of us as a nation. We have people who are continuously enrolling into, varsity to become teachers. Let us consider this and let us look at it from a perspective of pride. Let us not be, stigmatized or allow stigma to force us to shy away from who we are, because mother tongue is actually part of your heritage. I think that is the one important thing that we should remember, that if you do not play your part to ensure the existence of that heritage 1,000 years to come, who do you want to play that role? And you can do your part by ensuring that the Namibian child gets that education from you and ensure the continuation of that heritage. Mother tongue, always a pleasure for me to sit here. I believe that last year as well, I was the moderator for the commemoration of the International Mother Language Day. So it is always an honor to be part of this conversation. And I hope that the conversation doesn't just stop at these platforms, but it continues with within our various fraternities. And not just the education sector. We need to look at the art sector as well, because as Ms. Nango said, we need to make it fun. So from that perspective, we can also find ways to enhance that mother tongue in the school, but from an arts perspective as well. That's a mouthful from me this morning, but I'd like to thank you for being part of our discussion. I'd like to thank the panelists that made the time to have this discussion with us. From myself, Shianwa Desire Kahiha, along with our production crew and our guests in the studio audience here. Thank you very much. And please be reminded to join us this afternoon at 3 o'clock. We will be having a session once again at the Government Information Center. Goodbye.